You have a full house from our side. Pools is basically your which DA securitization board. Yeah, DA and BTC.
Let me start by giving you an entire overview. So, co-lending platform to start with, I'll take you through the self-serve module on how each and every originator will be able to onboard themselves and do the entire requirement gathering process in the platform itself. And at the end of the exercise, you will be given with the API contract for kind of starting integration process where you can, integrate with Credemly as an originator, right? Now, before even we go there, let me just give you an overall brief on how the platform is structured and how we kind of facilitate for co-lending. First, to start with, in an integration as well as in a partnership perspective, right? So when you talk about co-lending or when you talk about Credemly, right? Credemly is the middleware here, where we integrate with the originator system on one end, we integrate with the investor system on the other end. And for entities like yourself, where you can operate as both originator as well as investor, there would be corresponding integration exercise that we do with your systems. Now, when you are an originator, right, we integrate with your LOS and LMS systems basically, so that the moment you source X number of loans and decide to allocate it to any investor, right, you can call various APIs to push the loan contracts and the loan agreements into the platform, which the investors can underwrite. Right? And then as and when the collections come in, you can call our collections API as well and push the collection data into the platform, which we validate and push it to the investor system. Now, when you are operating as an investor, right, there would be additional legs of integration that we do, where we deep integrate with your core banking systems and your LMS, right? Now, when you are an investor, let's say that any originator is passing, let's say, allocating 100 loans for you for doing co-lending in a particular partnership. There will be various legs of integration where number one, we integrate with your DDube engine, we integrate with your BRE engine for you to take care of the entire DDube exercise, the credit functioning, etc. Now, credit decisioning can also be done through the platform along with the KYC decisioning, where we have various automated tools to perform those, which I'll take you through during the demo process, right? And then, at the moment the disbursement is about to go from your system, we create the GIF, we create the LAN, we take care of the disbursements through various API availabilities that we have. And we also integrate to facilitate for updating the collection data as well, right? So as in when the collection information is received from the originator, we validate those collection data into the appropriation logic and into a function or into a way which your system and your LMS understands and behaves, and we make those validations and push it into your system. That's the brief on how we take care of the entire process, right? Now, what I'll do is just quickly jump or stop projecting and put the entire process where how you can onboard yourself, right? How any originator would be able to onboard themselves into the platform, right?
Now, so just to add, for us, any integration is a one-time exercise. So, you as an originator just has to integrate with us once. We take care of the rest of the journey for probably with multiple lenders, multiple products, multiple types of asset classes if you have to actually build out in future as well. So Shankar will just show you those processes as well. And this is across, you could get activated on co-lending 1, co-lending 2, as well as direct assignments or pools as well in future or in parallel as well.
Right. So to start with, right, you as an NBFC will be having various products with how you're doing the lending process with, right, the lending business. Now we can put the entire product structure, product construct, and the product details in the platform. You can create various products in the platform so that every investor will be able to take a look at those products. They'll be able to express their interest on these particular products and take the discussion forward. Now, depending on what kind of asset class you're doing and depending on what product construct you have, right, you will be able to kind of configure those here. We can name a particular product, we can give detail about a particular product, and define how the disbursement process is going to be. It's going to be a coterminous disbursement, or you are interested in reimbursement basis. So depending on your requirement, you can put the entire details into the platform and publish the particular product, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so essentially the reimbursement is essentially used for model 2 or for even DE or securitization as well. So those are aspects which we already built out in the configuration. That's the contract which essentially come which the platform throws out. Now again, we are open to have both modes available, and Shankar will show that the integration could be as an API, or we could decide to start off with an Excel and then move on to an API as well. Both modes are flexibly available for you to essentially create and configure on the ecosystem layer. What we're also doing, just to add before Shankar moves on, is we are also building connectors with most of the LOS or LMS players as well. So these, if you have probably the standard set of FinOnes or Omnis or airports or Lentras or the tenants of the world, we are already building certain connectors along with them, which allows immediate integrations with these partners, where they come out with APIs or connectors are readily available for credibility. So you as a originator don't have to actually keep on doing the integration one on one.
What will be your core here? What will be the base system that you are using?
We have our own in-house LMS. In-house LMS.
You don't have any third-party LMS.
We had it earlier, but currently we're using our own.
So I'm sure you would have. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so just to understand, this connector is something that, for example, Navi already has its own system and we come to the connector and you can directly integrate. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
But
Right, but in your case, we will give you APIs. So anyway, Shankar will show you in the next slide, in the next part of the demo. We'll give you APIs specific to the touch points which are available. Now those are pretty standard touch points, and you from your system have to consume that and push the information into our.
okay, so just from my tech team perspective, I understand that when you are integrating with your investors on the other side, they would be doing a complete check their IT systems, because you will be integrating with their core banking systems. So their connectors would not work, right? That there you would be doing a
Even there we've already partnered with Finacle, which is the largest core banking used by most private sector banks. So we are building connectors on Finacle basically. So there also again we have a 3-4 touch point process where we connect with their backend ecosystem to either do a pre-disbursement check or validity, which they typically use for their underwriting process. And when there is a booking which needs to happen in their ecosystem, we do integrations with their gift systems and a loan account booking system to push information or create specific accounts in their ecosystem.
Got it.
So when you say integration, which you'll be doing for us, you'll ultimately be integrating our LMS with your platform, right? So there'll be one API connection.
So if Navi is coming on board as an investor or a lender,
Yeah.
we will integrate with your LMS. If Navi is coming as an originator, we will integrate with your LOS as well as LMS.
Okay.
LMS to capture the connection or push the connection information, LOS to drive the originating service.
Okay. And on the lender side, you have one collaboration with the CBS providers, which you mentioned, Pinnacle as one example. And what other integrations you have with lenders? Apart from
So
this?
with lenders, again, we are open for API capability. So most of the lenders are on API, but we are open to any mode of integration. So it could be Excel or API. So what we've done, and Krish can add as well, is we've created certain set of touch points and data which you already know are required by any lender to push or consume information.
Mm-hmm.
So we have blocks already built out.
Mm-hmm.
What lenders typically provide basis they are backend systems. They give us contracts or they give us a feed essentially when we have to pump the information. That's the reason why we are able to even do these integrations quickly. Those touch points or data is already available for us to
Okay, got it.
that's it.
So to continue with the demo, right? So I'll just do a small recap, right? So here we're taking a look at how you as an originator would be able to onboard yourself and put your product structure in the platform and exit the entire process by having the API in your hand, right? So as we saw, we put the basic details such as the minimum, maximum, loan amount, interest rate, tenor, etc. Now you can configure the entire process and assessment in this particular step. You can put out your KYC policy, what all POA and POI you will take, the proof of address and proof of identity, whatever details you will take, right? And how you will kind of assess the particular end borrower, right? Whether it's going to be through a CKYC or video KYC, those steps, right? And then apart from the end borrower, who all are the other parties are there in the overall loan journey? whether is there a co-applicant in your loan journey, is there a guarantor in your loan journey, etc. Along with details on what are other details into information you collect from the end borrower, such as the salary slip or credit bureau report, bank statement, so on and so forth, right? We also have an option regarding insurance also. The moment you give these details, right, the system will store it, and then the whole LMS configuration process will take place. So what is the process and how your LMS basically behaves, the entire requirement gathering, you can use CredAvenue's front-end system to complete it without any manual intervention. It's a self-serve, API generation module that we have. Whether it's going to be a fixed interest rate or floating interest rate, is there a limit product in your system, and what all deductibles are there as a part of your loan journey. Whether you're going to take document charges, whether you're going to take insurance charges or stamp duty, so on and so forth, and how you're going to give those calculations. If you want CredAvenue to calculate this for you, whether it's going to be an X percentage of the disbursement amount or a fixed value, you can kind of give the inputs here in the platform itself along with the repayment schedule. Now, if you are generating the repayment schedule in your system, you can push the repayment schedule to CredAvenue through the APIs that we give. Or if you want CredAvenue to generate the repayment schedule in your particular format, that is also possible, right? And for that, we kind of give various requirements such as how the interest has to be compounded, what is the interest formula that we have to use, whether it's going to be 30 by 360 or actual by 360 or 30 by 365, so on and so forth. And what are validations you want the platform to do on this calculation of the repayment schedule, right? And yeah, let's go ahead.
Shankar, just a small question here. This is applicable for model 2 as well, or are we specifically talking about model 1 here?
See,
It is applicable across.
It is agnostic to.
It's agnostic to any model.
It is agnostic to model 1.
So basic difference between both, right? So in senior model 1, anyway, these things would start kicking in at the first phase itself. Since we kind of gave a co-terminus disbursement, it would be a model 1. In case of model 2, you will be giving a reimbursement approach, and the touch point would basically differ. In singular model 1, you allocate a loan, wait for the approval, then generate the agreements, then go through a co-terminus disbursement. In singular model 2, you just run this credit filters in the platform, and at one shot you give all the agreements and documents to the investor for them to underwrite and disburse. So that's the basic difference. I can take you through those as well in the upcoming sections.
Got it.
Right. So, I'm sorry, yeah. So we were discussing the LMS related scenarios where you can give various repayment schedule related information. We can ask the platform to generate the repayment schedules and give various validations and interest calculation methodology in CredAvenue. You can also opt for various applicable collection scenarios also, whether you want to allow prepayment, whether you want to allow part payment and advance payment, etc. And what are validations you want the system to do on that particular aspect as well. If you have a broken period interest or a pre-EMI kind of functionality or process that you are following, you can kind of go ahead and give that as well.
Again, this is also completely configurable and can be configured from product to product, partnership to partnership. So if you have specific partners who would, in terms of what needs to be calculated, what validations should be done, how the appropriation could happen, those are also something which are configured, and these are configured not only for for one partnership, but can also keep on changing for different partners as well, if that's something which your partnership requires to.
And then you kind of configure what is the integration method you are interested in, whether it's going to be an API integration or an Excel integration. So for originators who are not there yet in terms of technology capabilities, can opt for an Excel integration to start with, and then eventually move to an API integration in order to scale the whole collating business. Right?
So
So
what
you can
happens,
create a sample workflow
when you
of
select
the
a-
system will kind of save whatever workflow that we gave you before.
So I was asking what happens when you select Excel based integration instead of API?
So instead of the API contracts, right, how the API contract would basically have the various data points that you need to push at various stages.
Mhm.
In case of Excel, at various stages, you will have to upload the Excel file in the format that we give.
Achha.
Right?
Either upload or you dump those specific files in an SFTP location and we pull it from there.
Okay.
So
And
either
the
is
steps,
possible.
the steps, whatever you're showing, the steps I need to do every time when I'm posting a new opportunity or new fundraise on your platform, or it's just one time activity and going forward in subsequent steps or subsequent borrowings, the number of steps will be lower.
So it could be either. So if you have any specific nuances which keep on differing for that partnership, and which is typically possible. So, so we move on to the next step where the field list is essentially populated. There the nuances will slightly change, and hence the new product probably needs to be created, or new features of the feature of the program need to be added. For example, if one just move on to the next step, Shankar, the field list. So in the create loan sort of a scenario, probably if you're partnering with a private sector bank, they would probably have a mother's maiden name as a mandatory information.
Yeah.
For a PSU, mother's maiden name is not important, so that could be termed as an optional. So those are the level of configurations can also happen from partner to partner, partnership to partnership. But again, if you want to have just one product, that can be replicated across all partners as well, as long as your partners are okay with any of these factors.
Okay.
So then essentially you have to just do it once.
Right. So in this particular exercise, what we're trying to do is the various stages I told about, right? Loan creation, when you want to update the loan, when you are passing the legal agreements, what all data points or data fields you are capturing as a part of your loan journey process, you will have to map that, right? So what ideally in an offline integration world, or what in an offline, like, in an integration without credit revenue, or in an offline world, what you'll be doing is you'll be doing a one-time mapping says for every partnership that you go in. But here we are just talking about a one-time integration that you have to do with credit revenue. And here you just have to input the entire process that you follow. Basically, your ops team, credit and business team just have to sit together and do this exercise of data mapping per se. Right? So at loan creation, it would be details about a particular customer, the details about the applicant, co-applicant, their KYC, address related details, civil related details, KYC, documents that are taken, those pieces. And when you talk about updating a loan, right, these would be the details that you are interested to update after giving a sanction. In case you have a process running at your end, where there might be an option to update the interest rate of the loan amount even after the loan is being allocated to a particular investor, you can use this API contract to do that seamlessly. Instead of sending an email stating that this is what was given initially and this is the new set of data points, everything can be done through the system itself using the APIs. Right? Next we come to the agreement signing. When you are, what all signed legal agreements you get from the end borrower, you can make those as mandatory fields, and optional ones can be kept as optional. And when you are about to disburse, after disbursing the loan, what all data points you captured for the likes of UTR, pending test status, the disbursement date, the disbursement account number, so on and so forth. And how your repayment schedule looks like. In case you are delivering the repayment schedule, you will have to push it to credit revenue, which means we will give an API for that. And these are the data fields that would be needed in the API that is generated, right? Similarly, for a post-disbursement, what all data points are needed for updating the post-disbursement piece? If you want to update a collection entry, what all data points has to be there? Yeah, Devash, you have something to say?
Yes, so look at it this way, that these are all touch points or all factors through an entire journey of a particular loan. Either you want to do a co-lending, which is a post-terminal disbursement, or a reimbursement model. These are factors which are required at any partnership or a program. These you are configuring either as an Excel or an API contract, and asking your system to push information to credit revenue for the lender to take the necessary steps along with.
Okay. And one basic question: when you say optional versus mandatory, what do you mean by that? For example, in updates, you had various options that update of interest rate, update of amount. So, what's the difference in optional versus mandatory over there?
Can I take
What we are also,
Yeah, go ahead. So what we're trying to do is that in case we mark an data point as optional, right? If you call that API to push the information, if data is there or not there, that API call will be successful and the data will be available in the system. But the moment you mark one field as mandatory, let's say that PAN number is mandatory when you are pushing a create loan API. Without a PAN number, you will not be able to push the API into the system. System will throw reject that API call then and there and give you a response stating that so and so mandatory fields are not covered. So that's the reason for having it as mandatory. Yeah.
What we are also doing as a next step, and I think once you start this journey with us, you get to see that information as well. You gamify that slightly as well. So what we are also now seeing that if you have probably, so we have probably a list of 200 fields and if you choose probably only 100 odd fields out of those 200, we'll tell you which type of customers or which type of percentage of lender on the platform will be able to use this data or consume this data adequately.
Okay.
Though that's the level of gamification which you're also doing. Because example I give you, banks typically require mother's maiden name or certain parameters for PSN flag and those details as mandatory
Got
for
it.
consuming in their system. NBFCs don't really need that.
Yeah.
So if you don't give that information, you'll probably be able to only partner with NBFCs, not the banks. Sorry, Shindu.
So the moment you complete all this exercise entirely, you just have to click on that, and the system will save this information at the backend. You can also view the data on how the document is stored, whether it's going to be an open access or we need to authenticate each and every time we pull the document from your end. Post which we'll have to have the IPs, whatever has to be whitelisted in the file server domains, and then we have to submit this for review. The moment it goes for review, our product team will be able to kind of review these agreements. They'll be able to review whatever information has put in. In case of any queries, they'll be reaching out to you, and we can complete the entire requirement gathering exercise. And then at the end of the overall process, the API document will be generated and it will be sent to the registered email address. So this is how the API document will look like, a sample API that we spoke about. And this is basically all the requirement and the data mapping that we did in the previous section. Right?
Because Shankar, we are not able to see that screen.
And
If you're
Configurations.
some reason I'm not able to project the entire screen, so I'll have to move it tab by tab. Let me show that. So this basically is the API sample API document that you're able to see. It gets generated at the end of the exercise after, of course, solving all the queries,
So this
etc.
particular document that you are seeing is generated after whatever Shankar did.
Options, whatever you
Yeah.
filled. Yeah.
So it's as simple as this.
Okay.
So right from all the various masters and right from various formats and what all data has to be inputted, whether it's going to be a free flowing text or text taken from a predetermined list, everything can be configured in the previous screens that we showed, which basically takes at least 250 days to complete after aligning the entire team, right? So the API will be looking something like this, and right from various stages we spoke about, right? Creating the loan, pushing the signed legal agreements, disbursing the loan, creating the collection entry. What all data points are needed? True, false will basically signify a mandatory, non-mandatory ones. Along with what kind of input is taken, whether it's a string input or a float input, so on and so forth. Right, so this basically would be used by your tech team for doing the entire API integration, post which the testing activities will be done.
it is a replica of this.
Correct.
Okay. And
These-
how much time it takes generally for the entire integration? Suppose we have identified
So
what all
you-
fields we need to integrate.
So can you repeat? I didn't hear
So
that.
after we have filled all the requirements, the forms, whatever we have filled for co-lending, how much time it takes generally for an UAT?
So it completely depends upon how your
But
banking
generally,
system
what
is,
have you seen in other originators?
2 weeks. 2 weeks is the fastest we have seen going live,
Okay.
Even the
and it could be as high as 4 months as well.
Agree.
It completes. So see again, for us, we are giving you the contracts to consume.
Yeah.
It completely depends on how your team is essentially structured or your bandwidth to essentially consume and pass the information. And one of the reasons why we are building the partnership with these connectors with these LOS vendors is purely so that the time to market is crashed down. So that neither their team or your tech teams are involved in getting these integrations up.
Okay. But I believe in our case, it's completely in-house. I don't think you'll have any problem. But in other cases, you would have partnered with LOS also, or LOS
Right.
providers. Then it just speeds up the process of integration, right? If you have already partnership.
Yeah, correct. That's good.
Okay.
So this is
So-
about integrations with Vue, which is as fast as this, and then the leverage of this is can be seen with multiple banks who are already on our platform. Likes of if you talk about co-lending, then likes of DCB to S Bank, few, then foreign banks like HSBC and DBS, then PSUs you have few others, and then large NBFCs also. So there are about 15, 16 investors who are already there.
Hmm.
So this is about leverage. You need not work on 16.
Yeah.
Just go to market.
So just do it one time and all.
Right?
Yeah.
Then what the Evershen team also work on is interoperability, which means these unified APIs also work in terms of, because we have addressed the core piece of it. For pools or bonds or loans or supply chain, when as a bank, Navi has aspirations to become a bank. So as a bank, you want to do loans, enterprise loans, and Navi wants to do supply chain.
Mm-hmm.
So for all that, you need not again reinvent the wheel.
Okay, so once it is
We are not a piecemeal platform. So for example, there are a few other providers who will be doing one part of solutioning in pools, which is just post disbursement solutioning. Then in supply chain there is one platform which is again doing.
I think you have unique tweets and you can map it over there also.
Precisely. So it's all one integration, unified, and then you are able to interoperate across all these 5 platforms. And we have collections, digital collections also. We have that AML driven collection piece that comes in and then sits here, right? So we have another credit, I would say, corpository, something like Karza, is already there, which means all these services also come in, with this, because it is. So think of this platform as not a product platform alone. Think of this as a ecosystem. You are integrating with CredAvenue ecosystem. The CredAvenue ecosystem is providing all products and all service providers. Shankar will walk you through in the next slides about how we are integrated with bureaus, how we are integrated with KYC, service providers, then Razorpays and other payment gateways. So similarly, you will have collections as also, you will have credits as also.
Okay.
So all the entire ecosystem play is something that you can enjoy once you get integrated. So when you get it, because you asked just the preempting.
So when we are saying collection
Also-
capabilities, so that means that there would be other partners who offer collection capabilities available on your platform?
No. We are not physical
Digital
infra.
collections.
These are all digital
And that
collections.
is in-house, like with CredAvenue, or we will have to partner with?
No, we have already this is a Spocto acquisition.
Yeah, got
So
it.
digital collections essentially starts off even 3 days before due date,
Yeah.
right? So that what type of messaging you want to send.
Mm.
Then obviously there is a different algorithm which runs with respect to propensity to pay, so that we know that what frequency. So we have to reach out. What are the guidelines around that? The compliance around that, right? Then when the payment links are sent, when the payment happens, how do I
So
let
what
you know?
she is trying to understand is this all solutions of collection, all the value-added services what you are adding, okay, apart from lender and originator. Is this everything provided by you or you partner with other SaaS providers?
Few services which are
Yes,
coming in
already-
from our platform. There are few which are third-party services.
Acha.
Like KYC will be a
It's
third
a
one.
combination of both.
Okay. So it's a full ecosystem for anyone. Suppose I want to be
Precisely.
originator, I don't need to worry about anything. Everything can be provided by you. And
Precisely.
you
So-
provide me capital, you provide me underwriting, KYC, everything.
So the major ones would be KYC, collections.
Payment gateways,
Acha.
credit and execution.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So look at it this way, this is infrastructure, so we built all the infrastructure types necessary for a credit underwriter or an ops guy, or from a risk or a monitoring process perspective. Whatever is required by these specific stakeholders to run their day-to-day operations, those are already available.
Okay.
So it would be KYC, sorry.
So Devash, here I just had 2 small questions. The first was when we were talking about the API creation, I understand because we're talking about the co-lending model, this would be created as per the mutually agreed policy between the originator and the bank?
So we have not reached there. So
Acha.
this is just you getting integrated on the platform and adding certain nuances which the bank would require for step 1. You are just pushing information on the platform. From a partnership standpoint, how a specific partner essentially adds more nuances, that's something that Shankar will demonstrate. That's the next step.
Got it.
And just to add, this is for co-lending 1, 2, and can also be extended to even securitization as well.
Got it. And just a follow-up question where Irfan was mentioning that there are 15-16 investors that we have on the co-lending platform. So are these do we see any bias between model 1 or model 2, and if they are interested for only PSL loans or the interest is also for non-PSL?
It's a combination of both, so it
I'll
could
take
be
that.
good stuff. Yeah.
So generally, this is a market preference. It may change tomorrow. So generally, co-lending model 2 is preferred for mortgage loans or housing loans, something which is of
Security.
yeah. And then CLM 2 is also generally preferred by PSUs. Right? This is again a trend. There could be
Correct.
exceptions here and there.
Correct.
Then if you talk about CLM 1, shorter tenor loans, non-PSL, private banks generally are here. When I say shorter tenor non-PSL, generally fintech loans, two-wheeler loans, say something like a micro loan, are in this set.
Okay.
Straight to processing जहाँ भी होता है, it's generally CLM 1. जहाँ पे phased etc होता है, longer tenor etc is CLM 2.
So the CLM1 preference of this product is by originator or the lender? Because I believe
Generally, it is a
Not for
power.
original.
It is an equation of the power of what do you call negotiation power. Whosoever holds it.
okay.
So larger originator, every originator wants it to be CLM 2.
Yeah,
Every lender, wants it to be CLM 1.
got it.
Right. So now the balance of power jahan hai, the
Okay.
equation tilts.
And what's the general tag of CLM1 for fintech loans on
Real time.
for one loan approval?
Real time.
Real time latency of
97% of the loans on this platform are happening automatically.
Automatic.
But if I understand correctly, the policies basically says that under model 1, the underwriting cannot be outsourced. So yes or no has
Model
to
2
be-
also, see, outsourcing can never be outsourced
Mm.
according to the outsourcing guidelines of RBI.
Mm.
So the interpretation of that in terms of executing this in CLM 1, 2 or be it housing loan or straight through processing loan is the lender deploys their rule engine in the subsequent thing that Shankar is now going to talk about. They deploy their rule engine here, which is now co-authored by what you just asked, Shivi, but you and the lender.
And do you see any behavior difference between type of lenders? You have PSUs, you have private banks, you have NBFCs, you have other lenders. So what type of lenders have followed real-time approach? What type of lenders have followed manual approach?
Like I said, PSUs all have only restricted themselves to PSL and then CLM2 largely. Fintech loans and private lenders, generally likes of DCB, Axis, SIB, who is
Okay.
also coming in, etc. So these are the ones who generally go for real-time fintech loans
Okay.
also. So it is a motivation of the bank also. Something like an S Bank, which is a private bank, but is largely I'm talking about, largely is on mortgage and housing assets.
Yeah.
So it is, it comes from the the hunger of the appetite of the bank on PSL, and then the bank's motivation of building what kind of assets which are complementary to their balance sheet size.
Yeah, got it. It depends on.
It depends on bank to bank. We can actually, you ask me what is a bank, I'll tell you what is their preference. So, but largely private is one set, PSU is one set.
Got it. ठीक है. Yes.
So, again, just do a small recap. What we saw is how any originator would be able to kind of onboard themselves in the platform and integrate with the Credit Avenue system. Now, what an investor would be now able to do is explore all the products that have now been onboarded in Credit Avenue. So they'll be able to see which all products are there in the platform, who the originator for this particular product is, and see a product construct of that as well. Right? And if needed, they can click on this particular product and see some summary of what a particular product as well, right? So the product construct, the product details, etc., and a summary of the originator on how their financial aspects are being performed as well. They can click on view more details, which will take them through the exhaustive list of a credit appraisal memorandum that the platform has put in place about a particular originator. So investors can check the CAM of the originator through the platform itself and take it for their management approval. Investors will also be able to click on express interest, right? They can record their interest on a particular product, post which the originator will be notified. The originator can approve the interest that has been expressed by an investor and start their conversations to exchange the data. Most of it will anyways be available in the system to get the approval to go ahead and do a co-lending or a VC program or any financial program through Credera, right? And from here, it will be backed by various executing the legal agreements, finalizing the KYC policy, finalizing the credit policy, the FLDG, the commercial, so on and so forth. Post which the entire process moves to the partnership stage, where the business transactions can start, right? Now, before we go live or before the disbursement can start, there are various configurations that an investor would be able to do on the platform. Now, a originator and an investor would have discussed on what would be the KYC policy, what would be the credit policy, basically the credit filtering criteria for a particular engagement, which we can configure in the platform. Right? So you can create various credit rule sets in the platform itself. Right? A simple credit rule that says that CIBIL score has to be more than, let's say, a particular number.
This is a DSL.
Yeah. Sorry?
This is a DSL basically, like you express in that language, that all these different
What's the full form DSL? Sorry.
domain specific language.
I see.
So like in here, you will, for the loan, you will say, credit score this one,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is this sector, this is the geography.
Rules basically.
Yeah, so basically you are co-authoring here.
Yeah, yeah. What exactly you want from that?
Correct.
You don't want below 700 or.
You can actually, I think she was asking about the BRE.
So your,
This is a BRE.
yeah,
DRE.
so this is the lender's DRE basically, if I have to put it that way.
What?
DRE is business.
No, rule engine.
Rule engine.
So basically outsourcing
Yeah,
their
yeah.
rule engines here, they are
Got it.
setting it up in that fashion.
So using this, they are well in the guidelines of the RBI processes in terms of them underwriting or going through this particular case which
This
has
is a
been
rule engine
sourced
for
by a originator.
underwriting, rule engine for decisioning, or rule engine just to
Filter.
Shortlist.
filter
This
which
is-
loans are eligible for them.
These are decisioning.
Decisions.
So no, it
So
is for
what-
both. For
Sorry.
Shankar, I mean, he'll talk about it later. There could be soft and hard rules that can be set in.
Okay.
Hard means it is decisioning. Soft means it will go to a level L1, L2 if you want to cascade it. That I think Shankar and Devas will talk about.
Okay. Good.
So just to add, these are all fields which are available as part of your the API contract which have been there. So every field which is there is available for the lender to use and create a rule or a configuration or a guardrail around essentially.
Got it.
Now those can be a factor of originated fields, which is essentially which you source from your LOS system, or if you are sending a bureau report, the XML which is there, that could also be added, or if you are doing some underwriting at your end in terms of using Perfios or Karza or Finbit, you pass on certain information or certain criteria or scoring on that, those could also be added. So it's a factor of all these. Plus at this stage, so when you at this stage, what we also do is we integrate with the lender's dedupe system as well, or there are internal systems to capture a positive customer or a negative customer, or to capture any of their internal policy systems per se. We get information from that there as well, and the credit team can configure rules around that as well. So you have base data which is being sourced by you. Add on to that information related to which you are sending from third party system. We add on more information from our set of KYC checks or verifications which we do, plus the lender systems as well. So it's a complete holistic view for the underwriter to take a complete call.
Okay.
So
Just a time check, sorry.
Sorry.
Time check. We have to
Yeah, sorry.
half an hour.
We just complete complete these pieces, run you through the journey,
Yeah.
and move on to see a D as well. The reason why we showed you through this is basically it completes the entire journey from how you actually source to coming on the platform, and then structuring into co-lending 1, 2 or into DA will be slightly easy for us. So I should go.
So this can be a single credit rule or a combination of data points depending on whatever has been finalized or mutually agreed between both the parties. We can configure the same in the platform. There is also a provision to configure the KYC policy in the form of document configuration. Between a lender and the originator, what all document has been agreed to be shared for each and every loan item, those can be configured here, right? From the sanction letter to KYC related documents to the legal agreements, including the post disbursement documents, can be configured here along with the tab for getting the post disbursement documents, so that the entire compliance and the entire tracking of the KYC and compliance related data would be done by the platform, and various reports would be shared to both the parties to exactly know where we are in terms of that.
Okay.
And the moment these configurations are done, right, we'll be in a position where the cases can start coming in. So originators would be calling the create loan API contract and push the loans into the platform. The moment the loans enter into the platform, system will automatically do the credit filtering, the credit underwriting on behalf of the investor, where basically the credit outsourcing guidelines is completely aligned. Credit Union will do the credit filtering on behalf of the investor, and the approved loans will automatically remain in the new bucket, while the rejected loans along with the reason for rejection will go to the rejected bucket. Excuse me. The rejected loans will be notified to the originator, then originator can take it into their own books or allocate it to a different lender.
Okay.
The approved loans will be available in this particular section. You can click on a particular loan and see some in-depth details about a particular loan as well. The overall loan amount, right, the tenor, the interest rate, which all parties are there, the respective co-lending share, right, and what all data points are available would be structured into various sections into the detailed loan information. Details about the applicant, details about the guarantor, co-applicant, PSL related details, in case of ratios are there, what all financial ratios are there, bank account related details, bank statements, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So this is the underwriting screen for the lender standpoint.
Yeah. So we also have a other information section where the exhaust list of details will be available here, whichever cannot be categorized in the detailed loan information. There is also a standalone document section where, depending on the KYC document checklist that we configured in the KYC screen, folders will be available here and various documents will be available here which the originator has pushed it through API. Right? Investors can check these and underwrite. While underwriting, whenever an investor has any query, they can leverage on the query management tool to update any query. It can be on the KYC, it can be on any other data. They can update the query and publish it. The originator will be notified. They can take the corrective action for the query that has been raised and proceeded for disbursement.
Okay.
Now, in case, yes, better.
So, I'm sorry, this view is for originator or lender?
See, the screen will pretty much remain the same. The originator's responsibility is to push the loans. So
Okay.
the loans will be available for them in the new loan section.
Mhm.
But investor's responsibility is to approve the loan.
Okay.
So the approval functionality will be only with the investor.
Okay. And this
Right.
for a mortgage loan, for example, home loan only, how about legal and technicals? How the decisions are updated over here? How this entire thing is happening over here?
Sure. So in the previous screen, you were only able to see workflow that spoke about new approved agreement signed and disbursement ready and disbursed. But in a secure asset class like a home loan or lab, there would be some additional layers which talks about credit approval and property approval. Right? Basically, there will be an additional leg of underwriting where the property related documents can be passed on the likes of legal search report, right, the MODT, valuation report, so on and so forth, which can be pushed by the originators, which then the investors would check and give the confirmation, post which the legal agreements will come in and the disbursement can happen.
So that originator will have to upload all those documents
Correct.
themselves. Do you have
They can
any
either
solution
upload
for
or push it to API. Yeah.
yeah? Do you have any solution for legal and technical agencies also, which originator can just outsource them and ask them to upload?
So we have that in our launch platform, and that's we're tying up with a couple of digital, legal, and technical measures.
Okay.
So that's something which you want to activate. We can help you with that as well.
Okay.
I have just two small questions here. First is that Navi is lending through its Navi app. So whatever documents we collect, we are trying to make a seamless digital journey. So we get those documents on our app. So is the integration possible that the documents flow?
So I'll tell you this way.
So your
you
app
have
will
to-
essentially be sorry. So your app will essentially go back to a backend LOS system, right?
Okay,
So we're connecting to the LOS system, not with the app directly.
got it. Makes sense. And second, when you were talking about that the investor has the right to approve, so that is where we are saying that if they have the rule-based engine at that stage, So then it will be automatically approved or rejected
Absolutely.
to reduce the time.
So on this workflow itself, what typically the lenders are now doing is from new to approved, that is the first set of underwriting for you to move ahead for decisioning in terms of legal, technical, or those aspects. The in principle approval is auto. So your borrower doesn't necessarily have to wait for for both the partners to actually agree upon.
Got it.
The rule essentially takes care of the rule, or the STP process on the rules essentially takes care of the approvals later.
Okay. And how about all the documentation between the lender, originator, and borrower? Because when you have home loan and you're going for CLM model
Okay, I'll tell you. I'll tell you. So I'll take a step back. If you looked at, I mean, if you remember, recall the first page where Shankar was setting up the
Yeah.
loan. So the stack for each product, be it a home loan or personal loan or vehicle loan,
Mm-hmm.
each stack will be set up, which is a workflow, which will determine if it has to come to this screen or the previous screen where there was no credit and legal valuation, right?
Yeah.
So the workflows are set up right at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So now once it is done, think it is this way. Even if you have physical, branches, brick and mortar branches, wherein your branch staff is engaging with the customer, collecting docs, etc. They are punching it in the LOS or customer
Mhm.
management system,
Yeah.
right? Or in the case that you are talking about, it is flowing through app, be it KYC or any other document, everything is following through. So, the entire workflow or the customer journey is happening as it is at your end.
Mm-hmm.
At the back end, these two systems are integrated, through which
It
it
has
comes to
to be-
Credivenue, and from here it will be posted to the lender system. So it is all seamless at the back end happening.
Yeah.
So nothing is tampered or there is no interference in the customer journey.
Got it.
One, right?
Mm.
Now query management system is a module through which two entities talk. Again, we ensure that there is no interference at the branch operations level.
Yeah.
So
This
is
I got it. I just have basic question. Suppose in home loan, I'm going with physical agreement side.
correct. That's where I'm coming to.
Yeah.
Now, again at the branch operations, if it's a personal loan, it could be DigiSigned.
Yeah.
Again the same, it's a document that is generated, it comes and flows in through.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a home loan, you are signing it, so you agree to a workflow.
Yeah.
The workflow would mean at the create approved stage, there is an in principle that goes out. It could be an in principle sanction letter only on your name,
Yes.
right? You may be tied up with say Axis Bank. Axis Bank has given you an in principle okay.
Yeah.
Right? There is no name that has gone yet because it's a CLM
Yeah.
2 model probably. So in the document that you are signing, you will have to make an edit which says, Navi Home Finance / co-lenders. No, that is a provision that you will have to make for. That's all.
Yeah.
Everything is normal then accordingly. So if it's a fintech loan, then the co-lender's name also appears. Which is like you have to make those amendments in the legal documentation or sanction letter,
Yes.
saying Navi and Axis Bank as co-lenders,
Yeah.
are party to this transaction along with the borrower, and that flows through. So the journey is going to be seamless.
Yeah.
Back end engagement is what we need to,
Yeah. And the operator will have to upload all the documents in case of home loan. If it's
Absolutely.
manual agreement, then
Absolutely.
you have to upload it.
So like I was telling, we are an ecosystem here. I just in credit pools,
Yeah.
we have a role for legal counsel, rating agency, trustee, auditor, and others who play a role in the securitization transaction.
Got it.
They was talked about legal valuer, legal counsel, then technical valuer,
Technical,
etc.
yeah.
So they have a role to play,
Okay.
right? So that role, giving the role to others, like we have at the back end given it to payment gateways or KYC providers, is a extension that we need to provide. That has to be provided on co-lending.
Yeah.
Generally, people don't ask for it. If you ask, we just have to. It is there.
Got it.
Right? It is there in two platforms, it has to be brought into co-lending. You want it, is something that we'll have to work on. It's like that.
Yeah. Good. Thanks.
And this co-branding is mainly for model 1, not for model 2.
Yeah. Because model 2, you don't know who the other counterpart is, right?
Good. And what are the scores? PAN score, TIL score?
So we spoke about various integrations that Credit Revenue has, right, to facilitate for the entire credit underwriting.
Acha, got it.
One such integration is
Yeah,
one
we
that
can
we
skip
have
this.
with a third party, where we through a third party we integrate with various government databases to run the PAN check, driver's license check, and the voter's ID check. So depending on the data that's available in the application for a given loan versus the data that's available in the government databases for a particular PAN, right? System will give do a comparison and give a score accordingly, depending on the quality of match. So if the match is exact, a score of 5 will be given, and the subsequent lesser score will be given if the quality of match is lower, right? We can configure in Credit whenever the score is 5, system can automatically approve it, and the balance can either be rejected or approved using a manual intervention.
Got it.
So that's what we are we do not, delay any approvals to ensure that the STP approval is in place, to ensure that the real-time approval is in place. At the same time, both credit and KYC is not outsourced.
Yeah.
That's the main, backbone basis which the whole, platform has been built. The underwriting module, to be precise, and that's what we have kind of achieved as well.
Yeah, I think we can move to next step. Just one basic question over here. Suppose the lender is also using ML based underwriting.
Hmm.
Then what will happen over here on your platform?
Okay. So there, the way it has to be set up is the rules have to be bit open,
Okay.
right? Which means the flow is continuous between two systems, which is Navi and lender systems. That is one. Now from a lender's perspective, I'm not talking about system now, because they are opening the gates, which were tighter earlier according to the risk parameters and appetite. How do they take care of? Lender will ask a higher skin in the game. That will be from your side. That could be in the form of participation, which is 20 ki jagah, they can ask for 30, 40, 50% also. Then there could be FLDG, because any which way this is not an PSL piece, we could ask for FLDG. So till the time this ML based underwriting is acceptable, those who come into the game are comforted. You may need to engage from a commercials and risk perspective.
No, I'm asking more from system perspective. Suppose
System perspective is only you open the gates, make it bit
Yes,
loose.
can I add on that a little bit? So, see, typically your ML-based algorithm will have certain features, right? So, what you want is that you don't want junk to be flowing, right? Like for example, if you have like sort of 20 features or 25 features, those features will be nothing but the attributes here.
Data.
Now you can say that you are putting a higher level filter. For example, a particular feature you have put a threshold that I will take only between say 2 to 7, not anything like that.
No, I think what Rahul is asking is if the bank wants an API integration to do their ML, so it's a black box. They've implemented it in
Their
their.
ML, not
Yeah, not ours.
Okay.
Suppose we
So they are BRE, right, basically?
What?
You're asking if,
suppose
So
Navi
what-
is Navi's lender. We have our ML based underwriting capability, and we want to source loan from any other fintech.
Sure.
Then do you provide
Sure.
this
So
feature
what-
to us?
so what typically we're doing there is as part of the first step of dedupe process, right? So typically we don't get we just get a go no go from the BRE then. So the same process still continues. So in fact it encompasses one single API call where you give the dedupe plus CIBIL plus any validating that goes into a BRE. The BRE then throws out a go no go check for us. But even prior to that, the platform may you will still configure certain criteria or go no go processes for the partnership. Only the decisioning can be returned from the BRE.
If I just to double click
My
on the
question was more on suppose in ML based underwriting you source a lot of data points, much more than the basic one.
Like 200,
It ranges
300
from
or-
your bank statement, call records, SMS, a lot of things are there. So do you have that feature configured right now, or you are in the process of building that?
So you are talking about ML at the other side. So we
Suppose
have
Navi's lender.
today we have 700 plus data fields.
Yeah.
Which include all the details that you generally talk
Yes.
about. That is coming in from our experience of what on both sides want.
Yeah.
Now, are all these data fields used? No.
Yeah.
Can there be few more data fields which we need to increase?
So
That
you
is a
can
matter of
configure that.
absolutely. It's a matter of configuration. It's a placeholder. Think it that way. If you are telling, if the lender is not 100% putting in the BRE here on the system, they want to. He was asking about black box at their end. So they
So
want
you
to
want
not
us to
disclose.
make a call to their ML to do the go no go decision. Right?
Yeah,
Like-
if that's the case, then there will be latency in terms of what Devarsh was talking. So today also, from a lender's perspective, CredAvenue pings the dedupe system of the lender and then comes back. The latency is calculated and Devarsh can add to that.
Yeah.
But if this is a ML based decisioning, the latency could be longer.
Got it.
So how it fits in with your fintech based lending without impacting the customer journey is a specific case point that we need to evaluate at that point in time. कि आप क्या चाहते हो, वो क्या चाहता है, and then
Got it. Yeah.
that's a matter of
I think
discussion.
yeah, that's fairly answered.
Okay.
That's good. Yeah, I think we can move to next step. I think we
So, yeah,
discussed the process
we
in
kind of
dispersal.
validations are made. Yeah, so these validations are made, post which the can. Yes.
Sorry, Shankar, just run a quick 5 minutes on co-lending and then move on to securitization.
That's right. Yeah. So these validations are made, post which the approval can be manual or automatic, and then the next step goes to the credit approval stage, meaning that the in-principle approval has been given. Post which, in case of CLM1 secured loan, the property documents will come in. In case of CLM1 unsecured loan, case will automatically go to the agreement sign stage. The signed legal agreements will come in, which anyways the investors team would be underwriting it by checking on a particular loan, going to the document section, and selecting a particular loan and moving it for the next particular stages.
Okay.
And in case of CLM2, all the documents will automatically come to one particular bucket, right? It directly comes to the agreement sign stage, both KYC and the legal agreements, post which you can move it to the disbursement ready stage.
Yeah.
But once the cases are moved to the disbursement ready stage, the disbursement process can happen, which can either be through an escrow or a reimbursement mechanism, depending on whatever process has been finalized. So that's the overall workflow on how
So
that.
suppose
At this
I'm
touch point, we essentially push information to a lender's core to create a KIF, to create a loan account, and also to process the disbursement through either of our payment gateway methodologies or through their gateway channels for disbursement.
Okay.
It could be
So
wise.
one question,
So-
suppose I'm a lender and I'm just about to approve the disbursal or the approval. So what information I'm seeing is just a loan ID, name, or amount, and KYC. Is this the only data which is visible to me at the front level? Or are you providing any bit of analytics also to the lender just to get the comfort? Because see, I'm getting 1,000 loans at a time, okay, as a batch. I might not see everything one by one. So what are you providing me as a lender?
So that's what, so our rule engine essentially factors everything which is there.
Okay, that's rule engine. Anything else apart from that?
I think from an underwriting standpoint, those are the
Okay,
three dominant pieces which a lender essentially looks at.
got it.
Pre-disbursement, we do certain basic checks in terms of penny drop and dose test in terms of validating if the account is available, not available, and expiry and those aspects. But yeah, I think those are specifically done from a lender standpoint. These are the checks and balances for credit and upstream typically look at.
Okay, so you'll have
Even if it is further.
rule engines and you'll do penny drop on case to case basis wherever lender is asking for that.
Correct.
Anything
And
else?
for you to be in line from compliance, you also give access to an RCU team or a audit team for them to do a sampling or a screening check post disbursement. So
Got it.
TDD process basically.
Cool. Yeah. Then you'll approve for disposal and then money will be
Correct.
moved to the originator and bank. Okay.
What we also do, and I think you must have already be aware of, we maintain 3 repayment schedules. So this becomes like a LMS for all partnerships per se. So you have the 100% borrower schedule, you have 20% or 10% or whatever participation.
This is
based
one
on
of the
the
key
originator,
offerings
as
of
well as the
say, solution main points and the solution from our side. Repayment schedule is generally a key point of difference between two lenders, and then there is a disgruntled borrower who is asking कि मेरा outstanding क्या है, right? आप कुछ बोल रहे हो वो कुछ बोल रहा है, you know, all that kind of stuff happens. So this is one, you know, we can be the source of truth, or because we are, you know, pushing the information and then continuously, you know, doing recon through the life also, you know, we, you know, are able to sort that out or solution that. So, most important pain point, I would say, in co-lending journey as such.
Okay. So you'll have borrower, active lender, which is originator, and passive lender, which is lender. Okay.
Just in co-lending, like going back to what Rahul was asking related to documentation, while I am integrating on your platform and partnering with the lender or the investor, the documentation or the policy decision that I do, so there will be some documentation that has to be signed, there will be some negotiation also that I will agree or I will not agree. So that is also provided digitally on the platform, or that is done offline?
That is done offline predominantly, because that is between you and the partner, and a replica of those partnership nuances are actually configured on the platform.
So
So
credit.
those are typically negotiation activities between you and your partner.
Got it. So once the policy is agreed between the originator and the investor, does Credit Avenue have any role to cross-check if all the policy parameters are incorporated on the platform?
So what we essentially do is we give access to the lender to configure this. Even we don't have access to it.
Got it.
So their credit team or their admin team essentially configure that, and that's something which most lenders ask for, because they don't want to share these criteria or underwriting guidelines to them. So we are not even party to that.
Okay. Cool. So I think we can
Second
quickly
one.
discuss post or disbursement activities. What all features you have for both lenders and borrowers. So what is your recon? Yeah.
So after the disbursement is done, right, as we saw, all the 3 repayment schedules will be available in the system, which means that at any point in time you can leverage the platform in order to check the demand that you can expect out of a particular partnership. You can just select a sample date, and system will give you what's the demand for the particular date, along with details such as which all loan is are due, which all installment is due, and the principal interest and the cost component for both the active lender and the passive lender.
Okay.
Same is the case for collections as well. Since the originator will be managing the collections at their end, they will be making the collection entry in their LMS. And since Credit Avenue is already integrated with the originator's LMS, they will be able to push the collection information to Credit Avenue. And we will make the validation on behalf of the investor and push it to the investor system. Now we will be able to see out of the means the due repayment schedule, what is the amount that has been collected. And out of the overall amount collected, system will take care of the appropriation as well. Right, IPC logic, CAP logic, or PAC logic can be configured in the platform. A logic till 8889 TPD and a logic after the NPA can also be kind of configured in the system itself.
Okay.
This is
Also what we do, and you will see in the left hand side there is a reconciliation module as well. So we have one feed coming from the originator, which is collect how much has been collected. Now that collection could be either NASH-based collection or overdue collection. Now we also hook back to the escrow as well of the lender, and from the lender we get a feed there, and there is a recon at that level as well. So one feed from the originator, one feed from the escrow, either through a dump or a statement which they put out on the platform, or through API. We do a validation for the lender of the receivable as well. So that at least 80 to 90% is at least reconciled. What is remaining is probably the overdue mismatches of overdue or excess or short payments which have been.
So how do you see this transfer from originator to investor? Or you have access to the bank statement of lender?
We have access to the escrow or the bank statement from the escrow.
Okay. Then you figure.
So
out
earlier
the
we didn't have access, but
Okay.
earlier we didn't have access much because most of the escrows didn't have a digital journey, but now we're seeing that changing.
Okay.
And there are APIs built out on the escrow for us to hook on to. Otherwise, it's a
Okay. So recon for collection is post disbursement, and recon for disbursement is how much you have accrued, which you are yet to disburse.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. So I think you had a funnel, no? Post disbursement funnel. We discussed first
Correct.
3-4 buckets. What else were there?
Pre-disbursement we discussed, post-disbursement we discussed, and we also have a provision for trans-disbursement. So
Can you just go
limit
back to post disbursement? disbursement funnel, what you were showing?
So that was the previous slide. Just go to the post disbursement funnel, Shankar.
One second. So you have collection, then you can see how much of collection has been done. Then what is matured, disbursement cancelled, and partner settled?
So after successful EMI repayment of all the EMIs, case will move to the mature bucket, right? And then we also have a disbursement cancel, meaning that at the last moment the disbursement has been cancelled. Partner settle basically means the partnership where FLDG is involved, where the moment a case enters into the 90 DPD, you want the partner to settle those on behalf of the originator. And then, so that your books remain clean and the partner can open a separate loan account for the remaining step of the, and get the outstanding money from the originator. So that's what a partner settle, functionality is.
So within partner settle, you can get to know the overall amount of how much of FLDG was there and how much of liability is still there, which you have to settle from there.
So from a lender standpoint, it is essentially a foreclosure for him.
Okay.
So in the lender's books, this is closed out.
Achha.
In the originator's books, it is still continuing.
Okay. Got it.
So as part of your partnership nuance, you would have certain clauses or criteria, right? If it's 90 DPD or more than 100 DPD, you would essentially want to, the lender would want to secure their books as well. So you would ask the originator to buy back those loans, or close the loans or repay them essentially, and originator then takes care.
So I think this is for reconciliation. Anything you're doing for risk management or risk management solutions within your platform for the investor? What is the NPA of the pool?
So Shankar, you just want to move to the dashboards.
We move the dashboard after the pools because it would be a generic portfolio management.
Sure.
So from a risk management perspective, while he's puts it up, one of the core offerings itself is risk management and analytics post disbursement. And snapshot of this is we've brought in our risk management understanding and then put it up here. I would say one of the best analytics framework that we used back in our banking days and everything, and then today most of the lenders are using this, etc. So not just a lender perspective, but a rating agency to internal analytics perspective is something that comes in here.
Okay. So in this whole risk analysis, you'll have data from LMS of the originator.
Absolutely.
And then you'll have data from credit
Collections and everything. Yeah.
Collection, you'll have PO data also, the market data.
Market data is largely going to be masked you versus market and not name basis.
Yeah, not name basis. So me versus market or this originator versus the market.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is an ecosystem. Sorry, you are co-lending ecosystem view in the sense that you might be doing with 10 banks.
Yeah.
Across various products. Today it could be card, it could be personal loan, housing loan, two-wheelers, etc. So you have one view for all this, and then you can slice dice to whichever way you want.
Got it. So this is your.
This is a snapshot. It's a
co-lending.
It's a snapshot, so here you're getting to see the trend and your daily DPD analysis. If you want to do more drill downs, you could actually get into specific nuances into portfolio cuts or. So Shankar, just move on to the next slide. Do a specific set of portfolio cuts and drill down to the probably last stage of PIN code and everything.
Yeah, so what you can see is it's going to give you an overview of which all states are performing well and which all states are performing not so well. Right, and upon clicking on a particular state, you'll be able to see the par numbers and the collection efficiency for that particular state also. You also have a portfolio cut section where system will drill down until the until the district level and show you a bifurcation of how the portfolio is performing in a particular district and various parameters of that as well. So you can click on a particular district and system will automatically change the details and give you bifurcation of the CIBIL, ticket size, age, interest, and so many other metrics as well. Right, so you can use this as a tool to monitor the entire portfolio. You can make various management presentations using it, download it in whichever form you want. So it's an evolving feature that we have. Once again, it's a part of the whole revenue offering.
Okay, got it.
So that's it with respect to the dashboard and the co-lending piece. We can move to the pools platform right now, if you're not okay with it.
Yeah, let's move.
Yeah, go ahead.
Clean and present
I
the
think you built very
platform
exhaustive
right now.
solution.
Yeah, in fact, there are
One
few
is
things
not
that-
enough for it.
Definitely not.
Definitely block two.
So I think, I would want to leave few points,
Yeah.
so that you are able to absorb it.
Hmm.
What is co-lending, piece solving for? One is integrations at the top.
Hmm.
The leverage of multiple lenders coming at only with one lending is the next one. You
Yeah.
can interoperate across product is the third one.
Yeah.
Once you do that, setting up yourself across products
Hmm.
is as simple as what Shankar
Yeah.
spoke you around. Then setting up with co-authoring a program with the lender is as simple as what he talked about. Then the loans are customized for particular loan. So if it is PL or housing or whatever it comes in that way.
Mhm.
Once it is set up, you have entire ecosystem. Be it bureau, be it PAN validations, Karza validations, and so on and so forth. All these are available. Once you go in, the biggest pain point today in the industry is repayment schedule, which is solved here.
Yeah.
Then subsequently, as you go into collections, recon, which happens on a daily basis across various modes, eNash to
Yeah.
cash collections to various other modes.
Hmm.
We have information flow, we have fund information flow. Both of these are validated across right from the loan level to product level to program level to multiple lenders level.
Lender level.
And it is mirror on that side. Recon is one of the very big piece that we solve. And then you have of course document management system, query management system,
Hmm.
and record management system here at one place. And of course what we brief
Because
as
my
well-
only point is, what you're solving for is data integration. Okay, I'm the originator, I have done there are some issues in my system, because of it some numbers might not match or some numbers would be error. And then again you have lenders or investors, and they see some gaps on the numbers, then you'll have to do it manually.
So
The entire
absolutely,
thing is, the
see, it's a
integration is
big-
automated.
So today integration is automated.
Yeah.
Recon is also automated. That's what I'm trying to say.
Hmm.
Today our system handles about 1 lakh loans per day. That's a peak that we have gone. And it is, and then you can imagine the recon issues that on a day, I'm talking about 1 lakh loans per day.
Yeah.
And then we have 15 odd lenders and then 40 odd originators. So that volume is manageable only if it is automated recon. We can't have any number of hands you throw, you are not going to solve it.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest pain point. That's the reason why I'm repeating it. Recon is a big solution.
It's a repetitive and very
Right?
manual.
Because see, it's about identification of problem also.
Yeah.
Recon is not just about solving the end. It is also identification. There is a gap here, and this is a source here.
So just to add on top of that, you saw in the validations as well, we give the facility to either validate at our end at block or consume it and then consume it or calculate it at our end. So both options are available. So if your system is throwing up wrong numbers consistently,
Yeah.
we either tell you those validation and validate it upfront ki these are the X calculation which have been agreed for a partnership. It is not matching with that. You do some corrections at your end. If you are not able to do that, we calculate it on our behalf so that the business does job, the workflows essentially take care. So we've seen systems also, so we also working on a fashion that we are not able to, at a collection stage, we are not able to appropriate between P, I, C, or any of those appropriation logic. So we do the calculation of heavy lifting in terms of, because we have the repayment schedule. The reason why we've calculated repayment schedules at our end is also purely from a perspective to manage or allow us the flexibility to manage multiple type of scenarios at various partnerships.
Cool.
Sorry, sir, just go ahead.
We can, I think we're done with co-lending, right?
Yeah.
So in fact, we've not shown you the invoicing, the servicer reports and the processing fee, but that's also something which is part of the journey.
Cash collateral
Those are
adjustments,
also what the platform.
servicing fee adjustment, FLDG, replenishment, etc. Everything happens here only.
And all this fee, penalty, calculation,
Everything happens
everything is
here.
automated.
Everything happens here.
Okay.
So when talk about the pools platform, right? The whole
Next
session centers. Yeah, sorry.
Yes, sir. Sir. Meet
I have Krish.
Krish, which is our chief product officer. He joined
Acha.
recently.
For the whole of Credit Union
100. He joined
9 months back.
from
Recurrent.
ये आप लोग sorry so what time is it getting over? 5 it's getting over and then what is the plan? That's the end of the
Yeah.
5 बजे उसकी public date की call है.
Yes, okay. So I'll have to get back at around 4:45. Heading back to Bombay.
4:45 you're leaving.
These days will continue.
I'll catch you with the on phone.
ठीक है.
ठीक है.
ठीक है. We are going through that in detail.
So you came from Chennai
हाँ. Good morning.
this and then you're going to Bombay.
हाँ सुबह was at Canara Bank and gym.
अच्छा वो भी कर लिया.
सब आ रहे हैं. आपका ही आना बाकी है.
हम भी आएंगे.
Good. So we are covering pools and co-lending today.
Pools, synchronization pools.
And co-lending,
co-lending.
bonds.
Rajat reports Rajat
हाँ.
and it's in your team. तो synchronization आपने किया ना weekly.
Yes.
कितने transaction के जरिए?
BA से चैतन्य के थ्रू का है.
नहीं अभी PTC जो किया है.
हाँ ऐसे का.
ICICI का.
ICICI.
I think. But we are looking forward to you coming in as investor also because lot of stuff is.
Investor? मैं खुद का यार हमें तो पीछे एक टाइप चाहिए था.
ऐसे का. ठीक.
वैसे इसको नहीं हमारा खुद का business is like growing by leaps and bounds.
Wonderful. Wonderful. We have
I
seen
told you right 1100 crore disbursed किया था March में.
Wow.
In a month from the group.
So quick points. You know, I'm sorry I'm hijacking this. So quick points are big banks like HSBC, DBS are in, right? The appetite is humongous. Tomorrow, you know, both of us are meeting SBI.
They are in from the supply side, capital supply side.
Of course. Commitment there is about 3,000, 4,000 crores. So I remember आपका statement about building the best, you know, personal loan book in the country. So appetite for that is what you know we have now, right? मतलब you let me know how much, you know, is like this
How much?
हाँ.
अभी PL में हमारा 700 करोड़ होगा अप्रैल में and मतलब टारगेट दिसंबर तक का दिसंबर का 1500 करोड़. But जिस तरह से जा रहा है, we can solve for the capital. We can do 1,500 crore in August September.
Wonderful. I really wonderful. So we are, you know, आपके साथ मैं शेयर कर रहा था वो ट्रेड के साथ our pipe is about 7,500 crores from only from the platform because everything is now on the platform. We are क्योंकि वो we can't have too many ecosystems also. With this
7,000?
7,500 crores is from non.
This is what monthly till date. Sorry.
So it will go to 2,500, you know, by mid to later part of the year. 2,500 crore per month जाएगा.
IDFC separate.
IDFC not included. So the major contributors are DBS, you know, Poonawalla, you know, of course, Piramal and all are coming in. So HSBC also coming in, you know, it will continue. So but appetite is huge on that particular piece. With right kind of risk origination, appetite is huge. So we solve for this. There is only one plug. That is also one.
Who is doing collections there?
Collections in-house है.
नहीं क्या in-house मतलब किसका in-house है?
उन्हीं का.
Credit का. Credit का collection.
मतलब in the sense out agencies etc. इसका. We by the way we have acquired Spocto.
वो तो yes.
हाँ. So there also I was just mentioning about that. Subsequently we'll take our time to, you know, walk you through about that also. We are announcing this now. We'll soon be announcing our corpository acquisition also, which is like Karza.
Collection.
Karza ka, you know.
It is the like Karza, which is gives you insights and all that.
Okay credit.
Credit.
Absolutely. So anyways, you know, whatever is useful is what you will use. So these are all the, you know, ecosystem play that will give you that kind of handle. You know, आपका focus धंधे पे रहे, बाकी का पूरा हम संभाल लेंगे फिर.
अभी अपने धंधे पे हम भी
और क्या?
So sorry, I'm
Sorry.
disturbing so many
Yeah.
people. We'll catch up.
Yes, sure.
Thank you.
Sorry guys.
So co-lending हो गया. I think next we are discussing
Pools.
pools.
So, to give a brief about the pool platform, right? The entire functionality or the offering when it comes to pool platform is split into three ways. So, one we facilitate for discovery, where you can upload your portfolio and the pool files, and system will give you a return of which all investors are interested in, and what would be the tentative pricing for all those pools, and you will be able to see a complete forecast of those through the platform itself. Right? You'll also be able to see which all investors are interested in the pool that has been uploaded, where our team will be creating various transactions using those pools and releasing it to various investors. So I can show you that in the subsequent screens as well. The second piece is the transaction piece that we give as an offering, where the entire transaction, let it be a ETC or a DA transaction, can be done through the platform, right? From structuring the overall pool, releasing it to various investors, right? And various counterparties being mapped to a particular transaction. And each and every counterparty will be having their own workflow, where a trustee can see the documents and edit those documents. A law firm will be able to give their comments on documents and upload the legal opinion. The rating agency will be able to see various portfolio and the company related data and give their ratings as well. Right? So the entire ecosystem is something that Credit has taken care when it comes to serving you with respect to the transaction piece. The third piece is a fulfillment module, where all the details with respect to a payout and other reports that's needed to be updated in your system would be done through our portfolio module using the platform itself. Right. To start with, let's say that all the portfolio that you have, right, the what we call as an MCD, that's the master client data, which basically is nothing but the pool file that you have of all the loans that has been disbursed, can be uploaded in the platform itself using the front-end UI.
I'll stop in here. So the securitization also functions the same. Aapka architecture is same.
Yeah.
When you're saying uploading the pool files, it can, once integrated, we can actually pull the eligible MCDs from the system directly also. It need not be a manual activity of आप MCD RS generate करो उसके बाद upload करो.